Next up is selected audio from the AEW Dynamite Roundtable, featuring Patreon subscribers Fernando Martinez, Randy Vasquez, and Jed Frankfurter. You can hear the rest of this roundtable as well as an NXT roundtable and Raw and SmackDown reviews at the Patreon site at patreon.com/Konnan, Konnan.me.
Oh, so they had a little pre-tape, the tape of Thunder Rosa talking about the match last week, and then Tony Schiavone interviewed Britt Baker on the stage and said she deserves a round of applause for one of the best matches that we had on Dynamite. Most people booed. Baker took exception to the reaction. After the hell I went through last week, she said. She said the fans are dumb, delusional, and disrespectful as Rosa. She took the mic from Schiavone, who ducked out of the shot. Baker said Rosa should thank her because now people remember her. Baker complained that Rosa claimed to put the AEW woman on the map. Then why is everybody talking about me, Baker asked. She said it took Rosa 20 years to become a hardcore legend, whereas she did it in one night. Baker said Tony Khan is looking for every legend that there's ever been when he has the biggest one standing right under his nose. She said she put AEW on the map, and she said the letters AEW come in second to the most epic three letters in pro wrestling, DMD. Schiavone got the mic back and hyped the Pinnacle is coming up next. The camera showed the new faction exiting their locker room. Okay, so what was this promo? What was the purpose of this promo?
Sounds like they might continue the feud, maybe.
Continue the feud? Are they going to, I mean...
her getting heat.
Well, what you didn't mention, she called out Mick Foley. He was like, it took you 20 years to be a hardcore icon.
Oh, yeah.
I did it right. So I really
but she's just doing that. This promo was 100% character development. Get more heat on her and her be more of a heel. Now,
well,
let me just say this. I've not been a big Britt Baker fan. I thought she was overexposed, and all the time they gave her on the mic, she wasn't that good, and all the matches she was in, they weren't that good. I know we disagree on this. I thought that match last week was good, and I thought this promo was good. But
it's her best.
I don't understand what the promo did. What the?
She's a
what is she forwarding?
She's a cocky.
Yeah, she's just being a dick.
But she's challenging.
She's getting heat. It's character development. I don't think she's challenging. Yeah. She's basically saying, "Hey, Foley, it took you 20 years to be hard. I did it in 1 year." They're going, "What a." Do
you think it would have been better for her to come out and sell the match from last week?
Right,
like she was like show that I mean something.
Right.
She wasn't even selling like that. She's just but she quit selling it.
At least Cody Rhodes was selling his, and he didn't go through anything that bad.
Right,
he didn't even have a bandage on, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
She needs to drop the dentist thing. I get it.
Yeah.
She's a real dentist, but
that's
the way she dresses and the way she talks and like the overdone eye makeup and stuff. She should be like just a pain in the ass that won't leave you alone. Like that's what the character is that I think she should do. Not the dentist or I'm the face of the division.
You mean like a female disco? Nothing.
Perhaps.
Well, don't you think that last week because of that she lost and she's the one that took the tax and everyone was sort of
getting behind her?
Yeah, they were getting behind her, and I think she cut this promo to make sure that wasn't
people
the case.
Weren't going to cheer. Yeah, that makes sense.
Heel.
Yeah, that could be true. It's definitely character development.
Do we know how many stars did Meltzer give it? Did that come out yet? That was her goal, right? She won 5 stars.
Let me look, but I think it's going to be in this week's.
7.5 stars.
It comes out on Friday.
7 3/4.
Has to be in Japan for that.
Yeah, I don't know if he was joking. Did he say like 4 3/4 or something like that on Twitter?
Oh my God, 4 3/4.
That's
so weird.
That wasn't even close to 4 3/4. Bro, these people
Konnan. If you had to give that match, how many stars out of 5 would you give that one?
I give it a 0.
0 stars.
No lie. It's not my cup of tea. I don't like bro. It looked like just they set up a bunch of studs. They were set up things to blade themselves. And it looked like a cosplay wrestling match. It didn't come across as anything genuine. Like they were fighting. There was just 2 girls that said, "Hey, let's go out there and do all the stuff that Mick Foley did, and let's get color and and that's what it looked like to me."
Yeah,
because all they did, because here's the thing. Here's what they do. They do all these devastating spots, and they keep kicking out of them. And I'm like, well, so that to me is not like a good wrestling match when you're doing 9 finishers, and one of them's a Death Valley driver on a ladder and power bombs on thumbtacks and stuff, and you're not pinning the person. It's like this is just a stunt show. It's like that's ridiculous.
Well, that's what a hardcore match is, a stunt show.
Well, it was, but I didn't like it. I didn't see everybody else.
I liked it.
That's fine. I'm not knocking people for liking it. It's not my cup of tea. So
right.
Because people like blood and stuff, regardless. Maybe they like that stuff. So I just don't like it. So next, this was a good segment. Backstage, Christian was talking with Giff Garrison, Brian Pillman, and Dante Martin when Dasha arrived. Christian said they were talking shop and he was giving them some friendly advice. And Frankie Kazarian showed up, and he was a lot of personality in this. He said he liked Cage's shirt, but he lives by the same catchphrase. Kazarian asked Cage when the work part of his catchphrase begins. Cage says Kazarian doesn't have to convince him of anything.
Yeah, Frankie.
Because he's been in the ring with him and knows how good he is. Cage said the work starts next week and offered Kazarian a chance to be his opponent. Kazarian suggested that Cage check out his Elevation match on Monday because 7 years is a long time to be out of the ring. It was good. That was a good backstage segment.
That was very good.
That.
And,
Still wish they would do something with Frankie.
The three guys that are there kind of look like J-Brones, but I also will say this. I like how Dasha, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She just walks up and goes, yeah, I was wondering what you guys were talking about. And I would have loved for him to go, well, no, we're not going to tell you. Or, yeah, now that you asked, we were all wondering where's the nearest strip bar. Would you like to go with us? Or something like that. But that was her question. Hey, can you tell me what you guys are talking about? Yeah, we're talking about getting laid. Do you want to join in? Yeah.
Well, hold on, Disco. Let me say this because the guy asked how many stars. I can't find that, but here's the notes that Dave said about in the Observer. This turned into perhaps the best women's match ever on U.S. regular television. That or the Flair versus
He
Sasha
obviously
match.
doesn't watch NXT.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I'd go with 4 3/4 stars, but because of the uniqueness and historical nature and blood, this will do very well in the Match of the Year balloting. This was one of the top matches in the history of Dynamite.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they didn't do a number. It's like we'll see if they do a number this week. But if they think doing stuff like that for your end game is like honest, this interview, the interview Britt Baker did to me was better than the match she had the week before.
And just
how about that?
Real quick, following up, this is a show review from last week. He opens up the next paragraph by saying, MJF did a legit Hall of Fame promo on the same show to introduce his new group.
Oh my God!
I mean,
you call that a Hall of Fame promo?
I mean, MJF's good, but he's really over the top with this praise now.
He's done better than almost.
He has done better.
1,000%.
So
this thing with Christian and Frankie.
This week's promo was better than last week's promo.
Yeah, it was.
Right there.
Right.
Boom.
This thing with Christian and Frankie, to me, it seemed like Christian was kind of like, hey, I'm going to the dance next week, and I'm not really going with anybody.
right?
You gonna go? That's kind of what it kind of seemed like to me. He's kind of like asking about, they kind of got real close,
So let's get to this one. So Spears, Hardwood, and Wheeler beat the three. The three. Our boy Pillman Jr., Griffin, Dante Martin. This is another one. Okay, you have too many guys doing this on the show. Okay, and then this to me. Too many people are doing this now, and it's visual and it looks ridiculous over 9 hours of television. They do it a lot on this show. I can't stand these spots where guys just take off and turn and run to go hit the ropes on the other side. Like when the guy, bro, these people are like you're running to get ahead of. I don't know why they're running sometimes, but like half the spots these guys do, they get up and you turn your back to your opponent, and it's like that doesn't look organic. Okay, if I'm going to hit the ropes, I'm just going to turn and sprint and hit the ropes. These people turning very methodically, like it's a big thing to turn around, and then they run like they're very over the top running when I don't know. It's just it looks ridiculous when they're doing all these spots. But I'm
not sure what you just said.
I'm not sure.
What are you talking about?
Okay, the spots where these guys like this Dante Martin. Okay,
who
they're doing the Dante the kid the
young guy,
Garrisons, the young kid, right?
Yeah.
They do these spots all the time where they're like the guy is right in front of you. Okay, you turn around, okay, and you go and run and hit the ropes and come running back at the guy. Okay, when people do that constantly, it looks really stupid. Like for one, if one person did that spot, okay, he's right here. I'm going to take off and hit the ropes and come boom.
Because it's like I said, when one person sees that somebody else is doing something and it works or gets a pop, then everybody does it. That's why you see a proliferation of the same moves, But let me tell you something that Jim Ross said, and obviously that's his job to say stuff like this, but he goes, Dante is the best 20-year-old wrestler I've ever seen. And I was thinking in my mind, I can think of about 5 right off the top of my head that were better than him at 20.
Rey Mysterio was better than him when he was 15
Eddie.
years old.
Daniel Bryan.
When they were 15, they were better than this kid at 20, right?
Ricochet.
Right,
Yeah.
A young crazy
There's
Eddie.
there's no way. This kid's green. He's got a lot of creative offense, but he doesn't know. They got to tighten the screws in these spots. They don't. There's too much cooperation and helping the other guy pick him up is just ridiculous.
And we don't know where he'll be in 3 or 5 years. He might be great.
So the heels go over, and then the heels start beating up everybody after the match, and then they grab the mic. So Wheeler said the Pinnacle isn't just a name or a group; it's family. So he doesn't have a wife or kids at home, but he would die for the other members. Hardwood said, if you're looking for professional wrestling, you come to AEW and ask for the Pinnacle. MJF encouraged Jericho to grab the rest of the Inner Circle and join them in the ring, but MJF said that wouldn't happen because the Inner Circle are terrified of them. Shivani said the Inner Circle members are hurt. MJF and Wardlow stared him down. MJF asked if he had something to say. Shivani said, never mind. MJF said that when you were in the Pinnacle, you were always on top.
What was Spears' contribution there?
Let me tell you something real quick. I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed this. Did you see when at the end 3 guys were going to throw a tope at the same time and Wardlow just stood there? So you're telling me these 3 guys that were running simultaneously at the same time wouldn't have knocked him on his ass? He buried all 3 of them.
I know. That was a bad spot.
What happened at the end there when Wardlow was going to get some heat and do a big move on Brian Pillman? They either missed it with the camera or Pillman just fell off. What did you guys see that?
I didn't notice.
It was like a big move that they missed or something.
No, I didn't.
No.
Well, I want to point something out that Konnan always kind of picks at. I noticed Tony Schiavone didn't have a fishing trip before the Dynamite tonight.
Yeah, he didn't have his vest. It was getting warmer outside. That's why.
Okay.
So next we got. Okay, so this was interesting. Shivani interviewed QT Marshall on stage. Marshall pointed out his wife was sitting in the crowd and said he's known her since she was 8 years old and she's watching her husband living his dream. Marshall said no one other than Tony Khan has done more actual work than he has. This is true, I heard. He does a lot of backstage. I heard he actually formats the show. Did you know that, Konnan?
QT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
QT. He said the company
it's
threw
not that difficult of a job, but go ahead.
Well, writing the show is. It's not
He
easy.
doesn't write the show. He's just writing down the format.
Right.
Other people write the show.
No, I think he puts the show on paper.
All right,
Microsoft
formatting
Word.
the show and writing the show are 2 different things. Formatting's not that hard of a deal, bro. Writing it is the hard part.
Am I mistaken because I thought he was the guy that they give him the idea, the stuff that he writes the show. That's what.
Okay. Well, if that's what he does, then kudos to him.
I don't know.
That is hard. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is what he's. Because that is what he would be talking about here, I think. He says nobody does more actual work than he has,
Cody was on the official AEW podcast, and he was joking about how he brought QT in to be kind of his right-hand man.
Or the writer. The guy that,
And he ended up being Tony, and now he's kind of Tony Khan's right-hand doing that.
Yeah.
Because smart move, QT.
Because here's the thing. Vince and Ed would one or the other would go write the show. Right, that's what I'm talking. But we would sit there and talk and everything. But I think the QT Marshall is the guy that he's like Vince and Ed. Like he's the one that's writing the show. Okay. But I may be wrong. Tony might write the show.
It sounds to me like they're saying we want this match, this segment, and Jericho's going to do an interview, and then this match, and QT puts it in order. Right, that's formatting the show, right?
Well, no. There's way more. You got to if you've seen it written,
Well, you put the times that everybody's entrances,
fireworks.
Perfect example. You go to an indie show. There's 1 page on the wall. You go to a TV show and there's 9 pages.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that
because you have multiple instances, you have different music, you have sound cues, you have in rings, you have whose music do we play
Backstage,
after the match. So that's formatting how much time each match is. You know what I'm saying? That's formatting it, and then writing it is a whole different thing. That's why I wasn't sure which one he did. Formatting's easier, obviously. Go ahead.
So he said the company threw him some bones of pay-per-view appearances, and he won the first ever bunkhouse match. Marshall brought up the things the fans don't see, such as making sure that Cody Rhodes' coffee is hot and his T-shirt is cut the right way. He said Cody will go to bed with his wife after the show, while his own wife will go to bed alone. The fan chanted Cody's friend at Marshall. He said he is, and he's not denying it. Marshall said the only way to get out of Cody's shadow is to have an exhibition match next week that he can prove that he can hang with the best in AEW. Marshall said he couldn't make Cody or anyone else come out because he doesn't have that kind of clout, but he won't take any more meaningless bumps while living in Cody's shadow. Cody Rhodes walked out with his arm in a sling and removed his headsets. He said he would give Marshall his exhibition match and Arn Anderson would be the referee. Cody said he would try his best to win, but he wouldn't hurt Marshall. He said that if he applies a figure 4, he would release it. If he hooked Marshall for crossroads, he wouldn't fall through with it. Cody said Marshall was a good assistant and has become a friend. Cody said Marshall might be his best friend. He agreed to the exhibition and they shook hands. Bro, I'm telling you exactly. If you want to know what they're going to do in this match, go watch Larry Zbyszko versus Bruno Sammartino. I guarantee you that's exactly what they're going to do the first time when Larry turns on Bruno on that's he's
in New York.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this because I was thinking, okay, well, nobody cares about your wife because they don't know her. Nobody really cares about you because they don't do with you. So I think they've come to that realization and they want to do something with him. So what's the best way to do it? Have him turn on Cody and have them do a program. You know what I'm saying? And elevate him. That's what I think they're doing here. And what was the other thing that I have here? Oh, I always get. This is just one of my guilty pleasures. I always love it when like the guys come out with the headphones. Like, yeah, I work in the back. You know, like because I work in the back also. And when I come out, you know what I do? I take it off before I go in the ring. I mean, you can't do that. You don't have to walk out there with it. You know, like, yeah. And that always pops me when I see people doing that in companies.